Hey, hello there, and welcome back to the KISST series. I'm Dr. Ogaro, Dr. O for short, and I am sharing with you my tried and true instructional practices that have worked for me over the years that I want to share with you so that you can do less and get more from your students. So KISST stands for Keeping It Simple Super Teachers. We are already wearing our cape, but we are not having fun. So it is time to do less and get more. So this is the fourth video in the series, and I have already linked in the description the other three videos. Do check those out. Today we're going to be talking about being a facilitator of your students' classroom learning experiences. This channel is for educators of historically marginalized students, especially Black and Hispanic students. And so let's go ahead and jump right in. Now, being a facilitator of your students' classroom learning experiences, as opposed to being a teacher or being that sage on the stage, right, is really going to allow you to set back and collect data. Okay, so that means you're not always on, which means that at the end of class or at the end of the day, end of the week, you are not exhausted. The fact of the matter is, whoever is working the hardest in your classroom is actually learning the most. And so if you're working the hardest, that means your students are not learning as much as they So the fact of the matter is, whoever is working the hardest in your classroom is who's learning the most. So if you're the one working the hardest, that means your students are not learning as much as they can. Now, for your historically marginalized students, your Black and Hispanic students, being a facilitator of learning experiences is going to actually boost their engagement, because the onus is going to be on them to complete the assignments. You're going to already have your routines and procedures and expectations in place, and so to them, you are communicating that you have high expectations, that they already know what's expected, and so when they come into that classroom, let's say for the do now, they know it's a silent, independent time, and you're at the front of the classroom or wherever you are in your classroom doing your administrative tasks, right? You're taking attendance, you're making sure that students are seated where they're supposed to be seated, you're making sure that if you saw a student come in that had like a frowny face on, that you're able to check in with them. Now, if you're always on, you don't have that opportunity. If you're always having to redirect students or remind students of the expectations, you can't be in facilitator mode. So it's really important and helpful for especially our historically marginalized students that you have set clear expectations and that you have your facilitator's hat on so that you can give them the responsibility of coming in and doing what's expected. Now let's go through my 5-part reusable classroom instruction model, okay? So I already mentioned the do now. The do now is about 5 to 7 independent of you minutes, right? Students come in, they're doing their seat work, you're doing what you need to do. Now, as a facilitator for that mini lesson, you are going to give students exactly what they need to be successful during that 15 to 20 minute chunk of time where they are independently practicing, i.e. applying those tools that you've given them during the mini lesson. Now, during that independent work time, you may need to pull a small group of students aside to review something, to provide them with a just right scaffold. You may also be circulating around, looking over students' shoulders so that you can collect data on who to call on during that summary and wrap up, because what they're doing is exactly aligned with the kind of thinking you want all of your students to be all the thinking that you want your students to have, because it's aligned with the learning objective for the day, okay? So you want to be eavesdropping, you want to be circulating, you want to be collecting data. You do not want to be on for that entire duration of your class, because the fact of the matter is your students need to be working independently. This is one way to increase student engagement. That is, you have given them the tools they need, And therefore, when you send them off to do the work, they are able to engage and stay engaged in doing that meaningful work. Now, I want to go back to one of the other videos in this series, which is how important it is to do the work, right? So because you have done the work, you know that there are going to be no surprises. You would know exactly which students are going to need your support. So you've provided and pre-planned a scaffold for them. You know exactly which students are going to need an extension. So you provided a just right, meaningful extension for them. And again, you are free to circulate, collect data, support in small chunks as needed, but you are not having to teach and talk the entire duration of your class, okay? So I hope that this has been helpful, and I definitely want you to leave comments for me, questions, and share your strategies. What is your preference, your preferred teaching style when it comes to classroom instruction? Are you more of a facilitator? Do you prefer to stay at the front of the classroom, teaching, explaining? Just tell me just share with us what your preferred teaching style is. And again, as always, please do share this video with a hardworking teacher friend of yours, especially if you found it helpful, if you found that what I'm sharing here is useful. Definitely share with a hardworking teacher friend of yours. Like and subscribe. There are more videos coming out in this series, and I want to make sure that you are notified when they are posted. I hope you are having a super fantastic week, and I will see you next time. Bye.